We're going to talk about high value versus BBL. Should be interesting today. Let's see how long our live is going to make it. So we'll see, because we know that this is the era, or the excuse me. This is where a lot of women enhance themselves with implants. BBL is very popular, and but what does it really target? We're talking about high value versus BBL. And what does a BBL really target? You know, and so as people start to come on, all right, got somebody coming on. Hello, thank you for coming in. There's a lot of women talking about they want a high value man. They want a high value man. You see it all over social media. Just they're talking about they got to have this high value man. They don't just want to have any man. It's got to be a high value man. But the women themselves are not necessarily high value, even though they may put a lot of value on themselves because of the things they've done to themselves to aesthetically be more beautiful to themselves. It doesn't necessarily equate to high value to a man, because unfortunately women are making a crucial error. They are measuring themselves amongst themselves as a benchmark of that woman is beautiful, got it all together, so we got to be just like her, instead of asking the man what he likes. Thank you for coming on, everybody. Thank you for coming on. I know it seems like a pretty tricky subject, or a touchy one, but high value versus BBL. Women think they got to go get implants for everything so that they can boost their value, and they think that they're going to get a high value man, but that's not the case. Thank you for coming on, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But they did a survey not too long ago. It's all over the internet right now, and they were asking all these women which they would prefer better: a woman that has the implants with a BBL, or a natural body. And every single one of the women said they thought that the woman with the BBL and the implants was it. They did not pick the natural body. And when they asked the men, it was over 90% that the men said they preferred the natural body. Now, why? And I'm thinking the women got to be wondering why. Because they're like, what? We don't think so. So why do they think so? But see, here's the thing is, a lot of women, they're so focused on themselves and benchmarking themselves after other women, or celebrity woman, or that Instagram famous woman, that they fail to do one very wise thing. And that is target the high value men that you consider high value, and then ask them what they like. That's a great idea, right? And unfortunately, because a BBL screams for attention, and other implants do also, that it's going to attract low value men, right? Because a high value man has character, he has integrity, he has discipline, he has boundaries, he has standards, he has intelligence, he has wisdom. So he's not just going to go for outward aesthetics. He's not just going to go out looking for a beautiful woman only, or a woman that has the body. That's not all he's looking for. He wants to know, what else is she about? What's in her brain? What's in her heart? What's her values? A high value man is going to look for that. So a low value man don't care. He just wants that BBL. And so these women are wondering, why in the world can't I get a high value man after I've done all these things? That's because a high value man thinks like this, okay? Listen up. I'm going to tell you. A high value man sees a woman that has this BBL especially don't even look proportionate to her body, right? And she's hardly wears any clothes. And this is what we think. This is what a high value man thinks. He sees her and he can see her a mile away. We know when we see, we're like, whoa, we can see that stuff, right? And he looks and he's like, wow, very beautiful. Whoa. And then looks and he goes, that looks kind of fake. Yeah, that might be fake. That might be a BBL. Then he looks at the clothing or lack thereof, and he looks at the way she carries herself. And then she gets close enough, he starts to hear the way she's talking, and he's already made up in his mind, this is not high value woman. So she sees him and she goes, ooh, well, nice dressed, well mannered. He's not doing this. Oh, let me have your number. Oh, shorty, and all these other crazy things. Oh, bae, or whatever they're gonna call, this and that. He's not doing none of that dumb stuff, right? He's not acting like he has no control over himself. And so she sees that and she goes, oh, this guy, oh, that guy, oh, that guy, these are, these pervs, right? And she sees this guy, well dressed, well mannered. He's got himself together, She sees other beautiful women walking around him, and he's not falling all over himself. And he's well mannered. He talks well. He's treating people well. And then she's like, ooh, that's high value guy. And then she walks by and she wonders, he's not even paying attention to me. I know he saw me. We made eye contact, but then he looked away, and he's not even going to ask me for my number. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Is a high value man is not attracted to fake. A high value man is attracted to natural. You know what else a high value man, like myself, when I see a beautiful woman, I'll say, wow, she is pretty, but I notice she's got makeup on. Some women have too much makeup on, right? And I'll say, in order for me to make a genuine, actual judgment call, is got to strip all the makeup off so I can see what God gave you. Let me see the natural face. That's the real beauty. That's the real you, right? I see some women, they put very little makeup on, and I compliment them. I said, wow, you have very little makeup on, so I see most of your natural beauty, and God did a good job on you. You're very beautiful. You don't need the makeup. You can get rid of the rest. And guess what? You save that pretty face card, and it lasts longer in your life because you're not choking the pores with all these chemicals, right? So a high-value man don't really care about a BBL. He don't really care about any of that. He don't. Now, there are some men that they like thickness, and there are some women that are naturally like that. But a lot of times you can kind of tell when a woman is natural and when a woman isn't, And a lot of times, well, we're not just going to go into that. We won't go into it. But, a lot of fake stuff just don't move natural. But so for you ladies that are wondering why the BBL and any other implants for some reason isn't landing the target you want, is because you've made yourself a target for something else. You've made yourself a bigger target for low value men. Instead of surveying and asking questions of, you know what some of you women need to do? You need to get around with your little microphone like you do in your camera phone or whatever. Instead of making a selfie or something, go around to some place heavily populated by nice men, not low-life men, but good men, and ask them. Say, hey, ask them questions. What do you value in a woman? You're going to be shocked. What is a high-value woman to you? And they'll tell you. And they'll tell you a lot of what I just said right now, right? They're wanting somebody who's real, inside and out. So if you got a BBL and you're not finding that high-value man, is because you just downgraded yourself with a bunch of fake stuff. So the high-value man is going to see that and know that, and he's not going to be attracted to that. He's not going to want that. He would rather have someone with half of what you BBLs have, or even less than half, and she doesn't even have to be big on top, but she's genuine. She's kind. She's good to people. She has empathy. She has values. You know, you look at that and it's like, wow, that woman, every time I'm around her, she's peaceful. She brings peace to my life. She's respectful, you know. She's always complimenting me. It doesn't matter if she's got ginormous this and ginormous that. She's got just enough, but she makes up for it. And sometimes some men don't like all that. You understand, some men don't like all the big stuff. Not every man likes the big stuff. That's the problem. Women are listening to other women of how they should look. And then you think you're going to get a man because you made yourself pleasing to a woman. That don't make sense. And the man is looking at it and says, I'd rather have this woman who brings peace to my life, because the more I'm around her, the more peace and love she brings me, the more beautiful she gets. And this is something about a man that you ladies fail to understand, is that the longer he's around a woman that he loves, he appreciates, the more beautiful she gets. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how God lets it happen, but it happens. You could be with, man, this is a pretty woman. I really like her. She's really nice. And the months go by, and all of a sudden, she's not pretty anymore. God, she's gorgeous. And then her inner character and values is radiating, that when you see her, you get a big smile and your heart starts to pitter patter. She's not pretty anymore. She's knocked down gorgeous. I don't know how it happens, but it happens to men. You don't need BBLs. You don't need implant this and implant that. So I'm letting you know, high value has nothing to do with your implants. High value has everything to do with how you think in here and how you speak out here and how this is and how it as portrays out amongst people. Are you good to people? Are you a loving person? Are you a hater? Are you terrible? You got a rotten attitude. Are you the BIT and you can finish the rest, right? Is that you? If so, you need to change a lot more than your outward aesthetics, because your outward aesthetics is not going to get you the guys you want. You say, well, I want the bad boys. You go ahead and have the bad boys, because bad boys are just that, bad boys. And guess what? Bad boys get real old. Yeah, because they ain't going to pay your bills. They're not going to be a good baby daddy. They're going to be deadbeat dads. That was what we used to call them when they're not responsible, you know. And guess what? They're going to bring you home an infection or maybe a disease, because you're not the only one, you know. They're low value. You call them bad boys. You call them, oh, he's so hot, he's a bad boy. He's low value. He's scum. He needs to repent and come to Jesus. That's what he needs to do, right? So, ladies, if you're riding the fence about getting a BBL or getting other implants, and God's already given you enough, you know, I'm not saying that you ain't got nothing and you need to get something. I'm talking about a lot of these women actually have a nice shape, but they think they got to blow it out of proportion. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on building your character, and that will exponentially make you more attractive. And you won't have to spend no money. You won't have to chance dying from a botched surgery. You won't have to, you know, walk around with fake stuff in your body. So, BBLs do not equate to high value. As a matter of fact, truth be told, they attract low value. So, let's see how we're doing here. Thank you for everybody for coming on. I know maybe some of you didn't want to hear the hardcore truth, but I got to tell you the hardcore truth. Don't worry, God did not mess up when he made you. He made you. You're wonderfully and fearfully made. You're beautiful just the way you are. There's going to be somebody in this world that's going to think you're gorgeous. That's going to think you're handsome, that's going to think you're a wonderful person. You just got to keep looking for them and ask God to pair you, to bring you together, and He will. Okay. Someone said you don't like plastic surgery. No, I did not say I don't like plastic surgery. Plastic surgery has its place. There's a lot of people that have had horrific accidents that need plastic surgery. I'm just saying we're talking about plastic surgery going too far. We're talking about plastic surgery, people needing plastic surgery to think that they're going to become more high value, or they're going to get those that are in high value, and it's not that way. A lot of times it's just the opposite. I have always been a person, let me tell you, in a couple months I'm going to be 59 years old. So even back in the late 70s and 80s, my teen years, I was never really attracted to the skinny supermodel. All my friends were attracted to blonde, tall, skinny supermodels. I never was. Maybe it's because it was my opposite. I was crack skinny when I was young. I was really skinny. Graduated high school, 5'11" and a half, almost 6 foot, 125 pounds. So I was skinny. But I was always attracted to the women that are tan, brown, and chocolate. And they tended to be thicker. They tended to have more naturally what women are buying to put on themselves. And that's what I always gravitated to ever since the 80s. I've never been intimately with a Caucasian woman or an Asian woman. It's always been a black or Latina. So to answer that question right there, you know, what I like or what I don't like, I do like a woman that has, but naturally. Someone said, I'm beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. I'm not doing any shout outs. So, but this is it right here. I answered all the questions that are on here. All I'm saying is the survey, the poll said that I think it was 95% of the men that were asked out of hundreds, they all wanted the natural body. They did not care about implants or BBLs. So ladies, take that into account. All the other women that were asked shunned the natural body and wanted the implants and the BBLs. But if you're trying to attract men, what do you care about what women are saying for? It doesn't matter what a woman is saying. It matters on what the guy is that's your target. The high-valued man that you want. That man that you say you want to be your husband, your partner, your soulmate. What does he value? Not what some celebrity woman values. You're being duped and you're being deceived. Who cares what Hollywood says? What does that man that you want says? If he says, no, I like natural, and you're on the, well, man, I really want this guy. Said, hey, do you like BBLs? If he says, no, I really don't like them. Really? No, don't say really. Just go, oh, what do you like? I like a woman that's natural. Okay. I'm like, whoa. You mean kind of like me? Yeah. You got a nice shape. Yeah. Newsflash, you don't need the BBL. He already told you that you look nice. So, if I can't get his attention, but I got what he likes, what am I missing? So how can I enhance this? What else can I do? You need to ask the right questions. Stop asking the women. Ask the man. Oh, I like a woman that's nice and kind. Ooh, I tend to be mean. Well, there's where you got to work. Yep, you can't buy that. You got to sacrifice and work and change your attitude. And when you see somebody and you're already about to be mean, stop yourself and say, okay, I got to go against my grain and break this habit. And how am I going to be nice to that person? And start to be nice, right? Because inner character is high value. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that helps, because it is the truth, the absolute truth. So God bless you all. You have a wonderful weekend.